الحمد لله الذي ألف بالإسلام بين قلوب المؤمنين وأوجب اتحاد وحرم تفرقا في كتابه المبين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد فيا عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي أولا بتقوى الله تعالى وطاعته. That is, all praise is due to Allah, who has united the hearts of the believers without Islam, and He has obligated us to remain united, and He has forbidden that we become separated in His book, which is most high. We witness that none deserves worship except Allah, who is one alone, having no partners, having no associates. There's none like or comparable to Him. And we witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is Allah's servant and His messenger. And what follows of that salutation, I advise you, as well as I advise myself, to first fear Allah and thereafter be obedient to Him, or have the proper regard for Allah and thereafter be obedient to Him. Brothers and sisters, we are going to take one Friday and we're going to suspend our discussion on the characteristics of the beloved for one Friday, because I think it's important for us to, with the climate and atmosphere in the country, I think it's important for us to look at certain concepts in the Quran to help us keep our stability, and to help us keep the proper perspective. And so our topic for today is Al-Islam, the pleasing religion, or the religion that pleases God. And so we want to begin in chapter 3 of the Quran, in chapter 5 of the Quran, ayah 3. And this comes right in the middle of this ayah, where Allah says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Al-yawma ya'isa alladhina kafaru min dinikum, fala takhshawhum wakhshawni. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakumul islam dina. So Allah says, this day, those who reject faith have despaired. They have lost it says they've given up all hope. That's one translation. Another translation is that they have despaired of defeating kafaru min dinikum. They have despaired of eliminating your way of life. فَلَا تَخْشَوْهُمْ وَاخْشَوْنِي. So don't fear them, fear me. الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. This day I have perfected for you your religion, and I have completed my favor upon you, and I am pleased for you al-Islam as your way of life. So, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to take a couple seconds to reflect on the meaning of this ayah, this very powerful ayah, especially in the times, in the turbulent times, in the challenging political environment that we are in. And I want us to remember. Now, I'm in my 40s, so there are times in the history of our life and development here in the United States of America that I did not see. There were times that I was not alive for. And in particular, in the struggle of African American people for freedom, for justice, for equality, for liberty, for dignity. And there were many struggles that I personally did not go through, but I benefited from the works of those who came before me. And this is not the only turbulent period in the history of the United States of America, especially for African Americans. When you study the history and the plight and the development of those descendants of slaves, you'll see that there were many turbulent times. Many turbulent times. Yet in the most turbulent times, there had to be leaders with the vision, with the appropriate vision to provide guidance to the community and help them see with a broad perspective. So Allah says, "El-yawma ya'isa ladina kafaru min dinikum." So this day have those who reject faith, they recognize that your way of life will not be defeated. And for you and I, the way of life that we practice is al-Islam. But al-Islam is the codification of human decency. Islam comes to bring edification to the human being and to edify human life. The Quran comes to refine human life. But what precedes what precedes that refinement is the beautiful human nature that Allah has given each and every one of us as human beings. And that beautiful human nature is edified, is not edified, is exemplified in the model life of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We call al-Islam Deen al-Fitra. It's the religion of nature. Fitratillahi allati fattara an-nasa alayha la tabdila li khalqillah. It is the pattern of God. And He originated mankind upon that pattern, and let there be no change in the creation of God. Brothers and sisters, it was the beautiful, excellent human nature, human disposition that Allah had put inside the human being that there were forces trying to erase. There were forces trying to get rid of. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam represents that beautiful human nature preserved in problematic environmental conditions. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was living in environmental circumstances that made it very challenging for the average person to stay true to their beautiful human nature. But although he lived in those challenging and adverse situations, he never left his good human decency. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this day have those who those who reject faith. But don't forget, reject faith also means to cover and hide. So there's a disposition to cover and hide the beautiful human nature that God has put inside of all of us. So with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam preserved, his motto preserved, his excellent life preserved, both before he received the Quran and after he received the Quran, those who were trying to cover and hide human nature could no longer have a hope in doing that, because in Muhammad you have preserved the model of excellent human life and excellent human behavior before he receives the Quran, and that excellent human behavior evolved and perfected after he receives the Quran. So, brothers and sisters, no matter how troubling the circumstances that you have, no matter how troubling the circumstances that you see, don't forget that it was Allah who made the human being, and it was Allah who gave the human being his good, decent nature. And it is Allah who protects that good, decent human nature. And regardless to how troubling your environment is, regardless to how troubling your circumstances are, know that Allah will preserve the dignity of the human being and human life. Before Imam Muhammad Rahim al-Alayh passed away, he left us with insight that would help us in the times in which we live. And when he said it at a Ramadan session, it was at a Ramadan session or a convention. At that time, I didn't think that he was, in my limited understanding, I knew he was preparing us for the future, but I didn't know how much it would continue to unfold. He said, the devil, he says, Satan has lost his professionalism. He says, Satan has lost his professionalism. And we know that the term as-shaytan in the Quran is more conceptual. It's a concept. When you say as-shaytan in the Quran, it comes from the word shatana. And shatana means to be far, far, far away from what Allah created you to be. So when we look in the world and we see things that shock us, when you look in the world and you see things that are offensive to human nature being celebrated in the society, remember, the devil has lost his professionalism. So whatever you see, don't be shocked. Know that human nature and the way of life that we've been given to preserve and amplify that human nature has been protected by God. So, brothers and sisters, I'm sorry, I have to fix a technical issue that we're having. I apologize to you in the middle of this presentation that I have to fix a technical issue, but if I don't, my computer will turn off, as will the broadcast. And so then the next part of this ayat gives further commentary on when Allah told us, وَلَخْشَهُمْ فَلَخْتَهُمْ وَخْشَوْنِي. Don't fear them, fear me. And we'll talk about that in the second part of the of our presentation today. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. So Allah says, this day those who reject faith have given up all hope in your religion. فَلَا تَخْشَوْهُمْ وَخْشَوْنِي. Don't fear them, fear me. Brothers and sisters, don't fear environmental circumstances that disrespect your dignity as a human being and that disrespects the dignity of the human condition. But fear Allah, and fear Allah always. And realize that whatever we go through as human beings, whatever challenges we go through as human beings, however turbulent things are as human beings, that Allah is merciful. If we were to go back and we were to talk to those of our ancestors who was in hulls of ships and they were being brought across the seas to be made slaves, sold as slaves, they would have characterized that as turbulent circumstances and as a turbulent environment. And they went through horrible, horrible treatment and hundreds of years of horrible circumstances. But their hopes of an improved future for their offspring materialized. All of those who came before us in the Muslim experience here in the United States of America, many of them were faced with challenges much, much more troubling than what you and I are experiencing and are faced with now. Yet they had a plan and they had faith for the future and their offspring. And they worked the environment. They worked the environment having faith in Allah. See, the only way you can avoid fearing the troubling things that you see in your environment is if you have faith in God. You have to have faith in Allah. I know it says, fear them not, don't fear them, fear me. Part of what this is communicating to us is that emotional, that angst that you feel that comes from fear. You shouldn't have that of those who seek to cover up the goodness of human nature, who seek to bring out the most ugly part of human nature. You should have that angst that you are having that much fear for something God created. No, you should have that much concern for the one who made you. Then Allah says, Al-Yawma akmaltu lakum dinukum. This day I have perfected for you your religion. Kamal means to be. Once I say this, when I say akmaltu, this is Allah speaking in the first person, and He's telling us that our way of life is perfect, and He has perfected. Don't look outside of Him. He has perfected. And Kamal means complete. It means full. Okay? So Allah says, I have perfected your religion. And this is the fourth form of the Arabic verb. And in the fourth form of the Arabic verb, not only is Allah speaking here in the first person pronoun when it says akmaltu, that tu is the pronoun, it's the doer, saying it's Allah who did it. When I say akmal is the fourth form of the Arabic verb, and the fourth form of the Arabic verb indicates a primary cause, the one who's the primary cause. So there's emphasis here in how the form is used in akmal and how the pronoun is used, that Allah is telling us that He did it. He's the primary cause for the perfection of our religion. Akmaltu lakum dinakum. Allah says He has perfected for us our religion, indicating that deen is for our growth. Deen is for our development. Deen is for our cultivation and circumstances. So if you want to know how to process and how to engage the environment in which you live, look to the logic of the Quran, look to the messages that's given to us in the Quran, and it will give you a foundation upon which to stand when you are trying to comprehend what you're seeing before your eyes. So Allah makes a very simple statement. That mankind gets nothing except what he struggles for, and the fruit of his struggle you shall soon see in time. So if what we want is an environment that respects human decency, common human decency, we have to work toward that environment. We have to struggle toward that environment. We won't get that environment unless we struggle for it. And Allah says, وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى, and soon what he struggles for, you will soon see. So Allah says, أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي. and I have completed my favor upon you. When Allah revealed the Quran, the whole Quran is a ni'mah. The whole Quran is a favor from God, is a favor from Allah. For the Quran gives us the perspective and the logic to engage the world that we live in. Atmamtu alaykum ni'mati. And it's personal again, God says, and I have completed my favor on you. Waraditu lakumul islam dina. And I am pleased for you, al-Islam, as your religion, as your way. So regardless of what's going on in the atmosphere, brothers and sisters, we should never lose the etiquettes, the morality, the disposition, the logic of the Quran. Because if we keep that logic, if we keep that disposition, if we keep those etiquettes, then we know that Allah will be pleased with us, regardless to what the atmosphere is like around us. Brothers and sisters, don't become caught up in this way. Something very simple as, if someone comes to you with a story, verify it first. You see this beautiful logic in the Quran? Allah says, verify it first. Now, how many times have you and I spread something without verifying it? And there's so much information being put out in the world today that it's even more incumbent upon us that we verify before we contribute to the confusion that exists in the human condition by putting out information before we verify it. Allah tells us to be responsible. So in this troubling time that we live in, with this worldwide virus that have affected every human being living on the face of the earth, and also these turbulent political circumstances that we live in, look to the Quran and don't forget your etiquettes. Don't forget the lessons that the Quran has taught us on how to engage with each other and to engage the environment and engage the society. And if that's where you go for your guidance, you're going to be okay. And you're going to be able to navigate these turbulent circumstances. And remember what Imam Wazir Muhammad, rahimahullah alayhi, may Allah have mercy upon him, what he told us before he returned to Allah. He says Satan has lost his professionalism. Brothers and sisters, I'm here alone today, so we will not broadcast the prayer. I encourage you all to pray Dhuhr at this time. May Allah accept our intentions, and may Allah accept your prayers. Brother Ahmed's going to make an announcement. But again, I'm not going to lead Jummah because I'm the only one here today. So please, once we finish, please make your Dhuhr prayer. Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And here are our community announcements. Again, thank you for joining us this Jumu'ah Friday for our virtual Khutbah with Imam Dr. Wazir Ali. We continue to have these virtual Khutbahs every Friday at 1:30 Central Standard Time. And you can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, or you can tune in, you can tune in to us on our public address every Sunday at 1:30, again on our Facebook and YouTube page. So please like us, share with us. And this Sunday will be Imam Brother Hanifa Al-Ukta. And programs like this only continue through your generous donations and support. So please give your zakat and your donations to the masjids that you follow. If you are a follower of Mercy Community Center, Masjid Al Quran, here is the link for you to go ahead and donate. It's mercycc.org/donation. The Beyond the Veil fashion show is coming November 14th. So sisters, please get your tickets now with the donation now before November 10th. So get your donations, get your tickets. This is the 4th annual show. Every year has been outstanding, and we continue to want to support the Beyond the Veil fashion show for all the good work that they do. And business owners, if you want to promote your product to over 250 Muslim women who have already signed up for the show, you want to go ahead and get your advertisement in. Just visit muslimatcollective.com for you to get that information again. And again, we support Muslimat Collective, and all of the proceeds are going to Muslimat Collective and Camp Khalil college scholarship for a young sister. Teamwork makes the marriage work is our next marriage support group program. Please register. The event will be Saturday, November 21st at 8 p.m. And winners receive a gourmet 3-course meal for two for participating in the game. So you don't want to miss that. Please continue to give to Ibrahim Kamaluddin Community Center. We continue our fundraising donor wall push. For everyone who donates $1,000, you get to put your name on one of the 99 names of Allah. We're having our new Muslim orientation class every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. Please join us by going to tiny.cc/new Muslim class. And again, new Muslim and class have to be capitalized. The Sisters Halakha continues to be every second and fourth Saturday, and it has been going on for 7, almost 8 years now. If you would like to gain access as a sister, please email Sister Salima Cogbill at gmail.com. The brothers meeting will occur every third Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Brothers only. It's a Zoom call, tinyurl.com/WDM brothers. And final note is, if you have, in these turbulent times that we're living in, if you have need increasing your access to Islamic media, you can always go to Al Farouk Media Productions and get a plethora of Islamic videos, books, CDs, tapes, whatever your media desires are. Al Farouk Media Productions has them. Contact Imam Eugene Farouk at the information on the screen.